Rockstar Games, one of the largest video game companies of all time. Rockstar has a long history of making linear, story-driven, open-world games. They are now most famous, of course, for Grand Theft Auto 5, Grand Theft Auto Online, and of course, the ever-amazing Red Dead Redemption 2. But they used to do so much more than just that. You had games like Bully, the unfortunately cancelled Agent game, and of course, who could forget Rockstar Table Tennis? Okay, well, maybe not Rockstar Table Tennis. But then of course, the topic of this video, the Midnight Club games. Now the Midnight Club games have a very long and storied history, so let's go over some of the games. It all started with Midnight Club Street Racing, which released back in fall of 2000. When it first released, the game came out for PlayStation 2 and Game Boy Advance. In the original Midnight Club, you started off as a New York City taxi driver, and you heard rumors of a secret Midnight Club, which was an elite group of street racers. And you ended up joining this group of street racers and earning your way and earning your reputation as a fierce street racer. After Midnight Club Street Racing, we had Midnight Club 2. This game released in spring of 2003 and earned a reputation immediately as one of the best racing games among fans. It was an immediate hit with incredible maps set in all LA, Paris, and Tokyo. Midnight Club 3 released not that long after, in the spring of 2005, with open world versions of San Diego, Atlanta, and Detroit. Midnight Club 2 and 3 are often touted as some of the fan favorites of the Midnight Club games. However, I think most Midnight Club fans will agree that there wasn't really ever necessarily a bad Midnight Club game. So after that quick brief, let's get on to the topic of this video, Midnight Club LA. Now Midnight Club LA first released on October 20th of 2008 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Midnight Club LA became an immediate hit with racing game fans and car enthusiasts alike. Midnight Club LA was so impressive at the time of release. One of the first Rockstar games on the generation of consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. It was one of the first games to really show what the power of those brand new consoles would do in terms of racing games. One of the largest reasons why Midnight Club LA was so impressive at the time was Rockstar's Rage engine. Now the Rage engine, Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, was one of Rockstar's immediate hits and is still used today in games like Grand Theft Auto 5 and in Red Dead Redemption 2. But Midnight Club LA was one of the first games to take advantage of this all-new technology alongside Grand Theft Auto 4. But when it comes to Midnight Club LA, it's so much more than just what's under the hood that makes the game so special. Undoubtedly, one of the most memorable parts of Midnight Club LA is the car customization. This is by far some of the best car customization that has ever been put into a video game. You can change just about everything when it comes to your car. Everything from front and rear bumpers, to headlights, different hoods, hood scoops, exhaust tips, custom license plates. You can even go inside of the car and change the color of the dashboards and the interior lighting, and you can replace your stock steering wheel with a licensed, Sparco or Momo steering wheel, and even include custom racing seats to get rid of your old bench seats from 1965. But let's just ignore the Lambo doors for now. And this doesn't even bring into account the vinyl editor, which allows people who are much more talented than I am to create their own perfect vision of a car using this blank canvas and truly using it to create their art pieces on a vehicle. But there is so much more than this too. You can fit your car with air suspension and hydraulics. And if you do this, you can even adjust how you want the hydraulics to move. Do you want it to go front to rear, right to left to right? You can adjust all of this. Performance tuning is also in Midnight Club LA, but it's a much more simplistic version of performance tuning than, let's say, the Forza Horizon games or motorsport games. The performance tuning in Midnight Club LA is basically like, do you want performance level 1, 2, 3 for your exhaust? or, along those lines. It's very simplified, but it's good to have it nonetheless. Now, of course, one of the most important parts of any car racing game is obviously the cars. Midnight Club LA has a small car list compared to some of the more modern games, but in all honesty, it is a great list with some of my own personal favorite cars in it. It has some of the best cars from even the 60s to all the way up to late 2000s performance cars. You like muscle cars? Great. You can choose from classics, 70 Chevelles and go all the way up to, 2008 Chargers and Challengers. Or, do you like Japanese cars more? Do you want a S14 Silvia, for example, or a Mitsubishi Eclipse? And let's say you're more of a Euro guy. All right, do you want an SL65 AMG? Or, you can choose from basically all performance cars that you would want to choose from. And guess what? There's even police cars you can choose from, which, that's pretty cool, I must admit. Not very many racing games have the ability for you to get in a police car and just drive around in it. With all of these cars in the game, it could kind of get a little interesting because, how do you know if you'll even like a car? You might buy the car and then just, hate it as soon as you drive off. Well, luckily, Midnight Club LA has a test drive feature, which allows you to, before you spend any money on a car, you can take it out for a test drive and explore the characteristics of the car, the physics, how it handles. Do you like the way it sounds and drives? This is a great feature that I think most games are missing and really helps you from saving your money and not spending it on a pile that you absolutely hate. But wait, there's even more. Let's say you're not even into cars. You like motorcycles. Well, boy, are you in luck, because Midnight Club LA has motorcycles as well. This makes it one of the only racing games that are out that are not only having cars and bikes both at the same time, but an open world game with this much gameplay. This has to be one of the only games, if not the only racing game, that is open world with cars and bikes. Like, that's pretty crazy. I can only think of, the Test Drive Unlimited games had something similar, but that's it. One of the best aspects in regards to Midnight Club LA as well is the progression in the game. Midnight Club LA has some of the best story progression of basically every racing game out there. You start off in a total shitbox. You are given the option to choose between 3 cars, which are, not very great. But you have the opportunity to, as you progress throughout the game, you work and grind and you compete in events and events and events. You build up your reputation and get more and more money. And then you have the ability to buy your dream cars, your Lamborghini Murcielagos. All of that stuff. You can get all of those cars, but you have to work for it. The story in Midnight Club LA is nothing special, but I must say, it is definitely a good thing to have it in the game, and it's a decent story. It's no Red Dead Redemption 2 or even Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't even think it'll come anywhere close to that. It's a racing game, but for what it is, it's incredible. Now let's talk about gameplay quickly. By far one of the most important aspects in any video game, but especially a racing game, is the gameplay. And luckily for you, Midnight Club LA has so many different event types and race types that you can choose from. You have series races, you have tournaments, you have these little underground meets and pink slip races where you can completely lose your car or win opponents' cars. So if you're a little more adventurous than most people, try those out because very high risk but very high reward as well. And each event is also color-coded in terms of difficulty. Let's say you're cruising around in your Sirocco or something, and you try and start an event, but you notice, hey, this event is red, so it's going to be very difficult for me to win this thing. Midnight Club LA makes it simple for you. This race is going to be difficult because of this car. Or, alright, well the race is green or yellow, so, it can't be that bad. There's no surprises in terms of difficulty here. The game tells you exactly what you're going to expect. Now quickly, let's mention the quality of the physics in the game. Do not expect anything like Assetto Corsa or Gran Turismo or, iRacing. This is not a simulator game. Alright, this is a total arcade racer. And, you know, in all honesty, the physics are a little better than you might think. They're not great. I wouldn't even say they're as good as, like, say, Grand Theft Auto 5. But the physics themselves are really not that bad. And, in full honesty, even if the physics were worse than they are, I don't think I'd mind that much, just because the rest of the game is so damn good that you can basically ignore bad physics. It's like the Test Drive Unlimited 2, and, you know, partly Test Drive Unlimited 1, right? Not great physics, but the game's so good you can just enjoy it anyways. Now, speaking of racing and gameplay a bit, let's say you're driving around like an 18-year-old who just got their license, you're running, you know, going ballistically fast, and you drive by a cop. Well, police are in the game, so you might be the unfortunate soul who gets into a police chase. Now, fortunately for you, police chases in this game are done very, very well. This is no surprise because, I mean, Rockstar, Grand Theft Auto, I mean, you know, it just kind of makes sense. But the fact that police chases in this game from 2008 are better than a lot of some of the Need for Speed games recently, it says a lot. So let's talk about the map quickly. This is one of the next big parts about the game that I really enjoyed. Los Angeles in Midnight Club LA is simply amazing. And it's very interesting seeing the version of LA in this game versus the version that they put in Grand Theft Auto 5 for Los Santos. They're very different, but you can definitely see some similarities and influence. Obviously, they're based off of the same place, but I think you can, if you play both games, you can see what I'm talking about. Midnight Club LA's version of, well, LA is great, and it really does feel purpose-built for racing and cruising the streets at night. A lot of the main city streets have been just straightened out, so they're very simple for, you know, street racing, you know, all of that stuff. The game's map feels designed for that. So in conclusion, Midnight Club LA remains one of my favorite racing games of all time. And it is a damn shame that we will most likely never see another game in the series. But at least we finish it off with an absolute classic of a game. Alright guys, that is it for this video. If you made it this far in the video, please leave a like and comment. You know, let me know if you enjoyed this video, because I really did enjoy making it. And I would love to hear your thoughts on the video. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.